January 1974, the quiet city of Wichita, Kansas, was about to face a nightmare it couldn't understand and wouldn't forget for decades. It began in a modest home on North Edgemore Street. Inside lived the Otero family, a father, a mother, and their 2 young children. On the morning of January 15th, something went terribly wrong. When police arrived, they found the entire family murdered. Each victim had been bound, strangled, and left in positions that suggested something far more disturbing than a simple killing. There were no signs of forced entry, no clear motive, and no immediate suspect. What investigators didn't know at the time was that this was the beginning of a long, calculated game. A game designed by a man who would later call himself BTK, bind, torture, kill. Over the next few years, more victims followed. In April 1974, a young woman named Catherine Bright was attacked in her home. She fought back, hard. Her resistance likely saved her brother's life, but she didn't survive. Then, in 1977, 2 more murders occurred. Shirley Vian, a mother of 3, was killed inside her own home while her children were locked in a bathroom. Later that year, Nancy Fox was murdered in her apartment. Each crime scene revealed disturbing similarities. Victims were stalked beforehand. They were chosen carefully, and most chilling of all, the killer seemed to take his time. This wasn't impulsive violence. It was controlled, ritualistic. Investigators began to suspect they were dealing with a serial killer, but they had no name, no face, and no clear lead. That's when the killer decided to introduce himself. In late 1974, a letter was discovered hidden inside a public library book. It described the Otero murders in detail, details that only the killer could know. The writer claimed responsibility. He wanted recognition. Then, in 1978, a letter was sent directly to a local news station. In it, the killer demanded attention. He suggested names for himself, including one that would soon become infamous: BTK, bind, torture, kill. Throughout the late 1970s, DNA technology didn't exist in the way it does today. Forensic tools were limited. There were no surveillance cameras, no digital footprints, no databases to cross-reference suspects. Police relied heavily on witness statements, physical evidence, and behavioral patterns. They developed a profile: a white male, likely organized, possibly living a normal life, and someone who craved control and recognition. But without hard evidence, the case stalled. Leads went cold, tips dried up, and then the killings stopped. For years, there was nothing. No letters, no murders, no communication. The city of Wichita lived with uncertainty. Was BTK dead, in prison, or simply waiting? Then in 1985, the silence broke. A woman named Maureen Hedge was murdered. Her body was found in a remote ditch. The method was familiar. And finally, in 1991, a woman named Dolores Davis was killed. Each time, the killer showed the same patterns: binding, control, and staging of the body. After 1991, he disappeared, this time for even longer. By the 1990s, technology had improved. DNA profiling had become a powerful tool. Investigators revisited old evidence, hoping to find something they had missed. Biological samples from crime scenes were tested and preserved. The profile of the killer became clearer, but there was still no match, no suspect, no breakthrough. The case became one of the most frustrating cold cases in American history. In 2004, a package was sent to a local newspaper. Inside were documents, photographs, and clues referencing the earlier murders. BTK was back. But why now? The answer seemed simple. He wanted attention again. By this time, true crime stories were gaining popularity. Other serial killers were being discussed in media. And BTK, who had once terrorized an entire city, was being forgotten. He couldn't accept that. As communication between BTK and law enforcement resumed, investigators saw an opportunity. They engaged with him indirectly through media messages. At one point, the killer asked a question. He wanted to know if a floppy disk could be traced. Police responded publicly, saying it would be safe. It wasn't. In early 2005, BTK sent a floppy disk to investigators. Inside were files, ordinary documents at first glance, but hidden within the metadata was something crucial. A name, Dennis, and a reference to a church. Investigators quickly followed the lead. The church mentioned in the metadata was located in Wichita. From there, they identified a man named Dennis Rader. Rader was a compliance officer for the city. He enforced local ordinances. He was also a church leader, a husband, and a father. On the surface, he was ordinary. But as investigators dug deeper, everything began to align. They obtained a DNA sample from his daughter, taken from a medical record. It matched the DNA collected from the crime scenes decades earlier. After more than 30 years, the BTK Killer finally had a name. On February 25, 2005, Dennis Rader was arrested. The news shocked the nation. How could a man who lived such a normal life be responsible for such horrific crimes? During interrogation, Rader confessed calmly, methodically. He described each murder in detail, showing no emotion, no remorse. In court, his testimony was even more disturbing. He spoke about his victims as if they were part of a project. He explained how he planned the killings, how he stalked his targets, and how he controlled every moment. It wasn't just violence, it was obsession. The investigation revealed key insights into Rader's mind. He was highly organized. He planned his crimes in advance, often fantasizing about them long before acting. He kept souvenirs. He documented his actions. And most importantly, he needed recognition. This need for attention ultimately led to his downfall. If he had stayed silent, he might never have been caught. In August 2005, Dennis Rader was sentenced to 10 consecutive life terms in prison. There would be no parole. For the families of the victims, it was a moment of closure, but not relief. The pain of what happened could never be erased, but at least the man responsible would never hurt anyone again. The BTK case stands as a chilling reminder of how evil can hide in plain sight. A man who attended church, a man who enforced laws, a man who lived among ordinary people. And yet, behind that facade, he carried out one of the most disturbing series of crimes in American history. But in the end, it wasn't advanced technology or luck that brought him down. It was his own ego, his need to be seen. After decades of escaping justice, he was caught by a floppy disk. He wanted the world to remember his name, and that's exactly what led to his capture.